Welcome to StockInvest.us podcast. We remind you that trading involves a high risk of losing money, and that you should speak with a financial advisor before buying or selling any securities. You should not base your investment decision upon StockInvest.us. By using the information provided, you agree and are held liable for your own investment decisions.
Hi and welcome to StockInvest.us podcast for week 33. We are already mid-August. Last week I told you I didn't expect much from Nasdaq. Nasdaq went more or less sideways, down 0.09%. And crypto, I told you crypto would go up, and crypto is really on the move. Even DogeCoin, the target 34 cents, was reached during this weekend. Bitcoin, which I said would go most likely upwards to 50, was above 48. It's still not 50. But you will know what I think will happen this week. So far, we've been right about the direction. It is going up. Will it continue this way? Just stay tuned. If you're a new listener, my name is Jim. In this podcast, I start giving you a short overview of what I think will happen this week in the markets, how the big exchanges will move. Then I give a rapid technical analysis of some of the major companies along with Bitcoin and DogeCoin. I give you 2 stock tips which I think will do good this week, which I will trade personally. I can already reveal that last week's trade was not going the way they should. They were closed with losses, both of them. In the very end, I will give you a short overview of the portfolio. And that will be more or less it. Usually this podcast takes around 36 minutes. But today I'm on the move. Again, I will be out flying to Norway. So I'll try to shorten the podcast even more as I'm in a bit of a rush. But we will just start straight off with the week ahead of us. Last week I told you I didn't expect much from the week. I expected a sideways week where the end could be very interesting, as there was some numbers coming in on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday that could move the market a little bit. But in reality, they didn't move that much. Nasdaq ending the week at 14,823. And this number is nothing special. The only thing that you need to know is this 15,000 barrier at Nasdaq. It's a psychological barrier, and once it's broken properly, you should see this next move upwards to 16,000. But it may not happen if Nasdaq just keep pushing up, not being able to break it. You can get into a negative spiral. But are we there yet? We will see in just a minute. Dow Jones did a little bit better, almost 1% for Dow Jones, ending the week at 35,515 points, or up 0.87%. Last week I told you there was different numbers to look at, and they were coming in on Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. This week there is no really big numbers coming in. It will focus a little bit about the consumer spending numbers that will come in. How much are consumers actually spending from their salaries right now? The expectations are lowered. Expect less spending the week. We will see how it will come in. Of course, this can move the market a little bit, but I don't think too much. If you're a trader, you should know that today, after exchanges closes, Roblox will release the numbers. Walmart will release the numbers before opening tomorrow on Tuesday. And I think the Walmart numbers may give the market some direction, simply because it will reflect some of the consumer spendings. Nvidia will be after close on Wednesday. And that just brings me straight to the first ticker that I will try to buy this week. The first company that I will put up is actually Nvidia. I will go in earlier today. There are some reasons why I will do it. I will let you know about this shortly as well. But first we will just look at a few other numbers. One of the numbers that we follow in this podcast is the 10-year Treasury yield. It's measuring inflation, expectations for inflation. And last week was totally unchanged, 1.29, still very, very low, even though numbers are going, the price numbers are going up everywhere. Last week we even saw Biden beg OPEC to increase production to lower the fuel cost. Strange when you go for the new Green Deal and then start begging about higher oil production, but as we know, these high prices go straight to the pocket of the consumer, and in the end the consumer is the person that select you, so you need to keep them happy. We already know that OPEC increased the production, but now we see the problems in Afghanistan as Taliban is taking over all of Afghanistan. Kabul was either lost yesterday or at least will be lost during this week. So then Afghanistan will be total under Taliban control. Will this affect the markets? I don't think so. I always speak about these possible events, and again, I would focus more about Iran if you're worried about things that can really push the market in short term. Oil prices as well. And oil went slightly up last week, ending trading around $67. It's traded roughly there right as we speak. And I told you I believe that oil will continue downwards, and I gave you my reasons for this, simply because OPEC many weeks ago agreed to increase the production to utilize the high prices that there is. And I don't think that there will be huge pressure on the oil. I think oil should continue still a little bit downwards. There is not many months left of this year, and over the total of the year, I told you that I think that the oil peak will be at $100. I always said oil will go up. I told you when it was 20, it would just go up to 60, 70. The chance for oil to peak to 100 is of course going down, but I still think that will happen. It will be geopolitical reasons for this. But again, 67 is a very high price. And why do I mention oil price? Well, oil relates to more or less all the things that you use in your daily life. Computers, laptops, they are made of oil products. These high oil prices, they affect the general prices, and of course the prices of gasoline, etc. So in regards of inflation, oil is a major player. The other thing is, of course, that as I told you from the very day, get into oil, because the oil companies, they make good money. Some of them even just above $14, I think, for Saudi Arabian countries. It's a little higher in Europe. Norway should be around some $20-25 per barrel. For starting to make money, some of the newest field is very high. They need oil prices around $40. Shallow sand in United States should also be around $35-40 before becoming profitable. With prices at 67, these companies are just scratching in a lot of money. And the prices, in my opinion, are still low for the oil companies. Right now they are making huge profits, and they will just release one good quarter number after the other, pushing prices up. So most of the oil companies have already gained a lot, and as I told you, I think it was 2 podcasts ago, if you are too late on the main train, well, remember that the oil industry need to buy their equipment, upgrade their equipment. For some years now they've been reducing all sort of costs, but they will need to replace a lot of items. So third-party suppliers should be a good place to look for possible buying candidates. I think there is much more to come from oil-related companies for the rest of the years, maybe even long into the next year. And I have one portfolio fully dedicated to oil, and it's just been amazing good. Just keeps climbing. A few changes I've done in that one. Gold up $30, traded at $1,776. And as I said tons times before, I believe gold will get back to $2,000. So I remain very positive to gold, as I see more uncertainty increase in the markets and the world. As such, I believe gold, safe haven. Target is 2000. I will not be surprised if we see gold much higher if we go some years ahead. So these are the main things. What you can drag out there is no huge expectations, and that makes me believe that the market as such will not be very special this week. I don't manage to see something pushing the market either very high or very low. Has to be something totally spectacular, which of course can happen. That means that I don't think there will be a huge variation. If we look at the major signals across the world, we can see that there is 24% buy signals. Nasdaq is very low, 22% buy signals now, and only a few companies in Nasdaq been doing really good last week. The rest been falling. This is very low, and usually it's a buying opportunity. What can happen is, of course, that we get into this oversold mood where things just keep selling. Like overbought can go long and overbought. It can also go long and oversold. I don't think personally it will happen because so many companies are now in the bottom of the trend, which usually will indicate that they should go up. So I think it's a possible buying opportunity in this, as I see it, the very last rally for Nasdaq. New York Stock Exchange a little bit better. 33% buy signals at New York Stock Exchange, while Tokyo have 23% buy signals. So there's really nothing. To sum it up, I don't expect much from Nasdaq. I think it will be a green week for Nasdaq. How much? Not sure, but I don't think it will be super duper. Probably Nasdaq should be able to push just above 15,000 points in my opinion. Dow Jones should do fairly okay. Nothing. But you have to keep an eye, of course, things can escalate out in the big world. You never know. That brings us straight to the first set of technical analysis. And just to say it, I'm quite happy with the results. I said to you, I believe Apple would end the week at 150. Apple came in at 149.10. So I will say that was spot on. Microsoft, I told you, I believe Microsoft would end the week at 293, ending at 292.85. So it was 15 cents off target. But let's start with the first one, and we will make that Apple, I believe. And if you look at the Apple chart, it's a good exercise. You should do this yourself. If you don't use StockInvest, and use some other one who provides with good chart, and you will see that Apple is within a rising, nice, strong trend. Right now it's testing the bottom. It's been moving sideways for many weeks now. Actually, since the beginning of July, it's been moving more or less sideways between $143 and $149. Usually you can expect this to continue. It's called a rectangle formation. But at some point it will be broken either up and down, and right now if it's broken up, you can expect a very rapid rise to around $153, $154. If it falls down, you can expect a fall down to 137-ish very quickly. Relative strength index is very low. Buy signal, short-term, long-term moving average, everything is looking okay, and our system at StockInvest.us rank it as a buy candidate with a score of 2.16. Had it a buy or hold candidate since 4th of June, and since then up 18.4%. I agree to our systems. I believe it will continue upwards. Could again be a boring week, but I think since we are at the bottom of the trend, that rising trend, I think we will see a squeeze upwards. No resistance above mean that the stock can go very fast, and I think it will take these dollars which I mentioned fairly quickly. So it should be testing high during the week, 155, and very low I expect to be around 146, 147. So moving anywhere between there. But ending the week, and I will actually put a very nice target for Apple this week at $153. So I remain positive to Apple. Last week I told you I believed Microsoft would do better than Apple, and Microsoft surely did. Looking at the trend, you will see an even nicer trend for Microsoft. It's tighter, it's nicer, and everything looks so good. Stock is the volume is following the stock, such a good sign, and there is buy signals from the long-term moving average, short-term moving average. Relative strength index is 59, moving upwards. So everything indicates that the stock should just push upwards. So I'll not make a big deal out of it. I think that Microsoft will hit 300 during this week, and by Friday I think actually it will end somewhere around $300. If things goes the other way, that can of course happen. Microsoft will find support at 290, 285, 280, and later 270. That just tells me with a lot support below, you should not expect, if it gets red, you should not expect these huge falls. There is always a chance that things can go the opposite way, because markets decide, not me. But in this case, as I said, Microsoft has tons of support below. You should be more worried if Microsoft falls below $276, because if that happens, you should expect Microsoft to fall very rapidly forward. But we are not there, so I still believe more to come, and 300 is the target. One of the last stocks before crypto is Tesla, and last week I told you I believe Tesla would go up to $730. Tesla ending the week at 717.17. So direction was right. It was a good week for Tesla investors, but it did not manage all the way up to 730. So that was $13 off target. But if you look at the Tesla chart, you will see a rising trend. Some support where it is, then is back to 680. So Tesla being a volatile stock, you can expect this to happen, that Tesla will fall on a single day back to 680. That is the Tesla game. But I told you when it was 560, just buy Tesla, because it will go upwards, and I think that it can go all the way up to 900. Right now it's moving in that direction. I'm not sure if it will happen this week, because it's more of the upper part of the trend, and usually then it will react a little sideways or down. And actually I think that is what will happen during this week. Relative strength index is high. It was topping at 77, being overbought. Right now it's 72 on the way down, and I think it will be a slow week for Tesla. Nothing very majorly big happen. I think actually it can go as low as 685 on low, but that it should trade between 685 and 720. By the end of the week, I think it'll bounce a little bit up, but I will lower the week to 700. So 700 will be the target for this week. I see it all as very natural reaction, nothing scary. I remain very positive to Tesla and believe that it will continue upwards, just not this week. That brings me to the last stock before the crypto, and that is GameStop. GameStop is also very hard to give exact price on. I said last week I believed it would crawl up to around 170, but it did not manage that. It ended at 162.52. So direction was correct. It was up, but it was not as much as I hope. And right now there is really not much volume in GameStop, so it's totally boring to be a GameStop investor. And I guess if you check Reddit, that should reflect it as well. There should be lower posting about GameStop right now. Trend is negative. There are support just where it is now, and later at 157, 155, 157. The reason I still remain positive short term for GameStop is because relative strength index is way too low. This stock is just waiting for an opportunity to go up. Buy signal short-term moving average, sell signal from the long-term moving average. Our system ranks it as a sell candidate, and I would say that until it really matches upwards, it's somewhat a good conclusion, but I like to be a little bit ahead of our systems. And the low relative strength index can remain. Please bear in mind that already since July, very early July, relative strength index been low, but it just kept going downwards. That happens sometimes, but in most cases when relative strength index is low, things will have a short reaction up. big resistance at 210, 220, etc. So I don't see anything going that direction anytime soon. I think it will push upwards, but with all this resistance, even between 160 and 180, I think it will be a slow move. Last week my target was 170. I will actually increase it a little bit this week and say that I believe GameStop by end of week will crawl upwards to $180. That brings us to the two cryptos, and I will after the cryptos I will let you into the two stock trades of the week before ending the podcast with the portfolio. Last week I told you I believe Bitcoin will push upwards to 50,000. Friday, because we always measure to Friday, Bitcoin ended at 47,800. As we speak, it's actually testing 48,000 level. You can go to our site, StockInvest.us, type in BTC USD, get the Bitcoin dollar chart, and you can see what I mean. Our system had this buy candidate since early May, but it was very obvious when it was 30,000. If you're new to this podcast, you can just check a few podcasts back and you will see when it was 30,000 I told you just buy. If it managed to stay reasonably around 30,000, it will bounce upwards, and it bounced upwards. 29,800 was end of day low before it started up. Now it's been pushing very fast upwards, gaining $18,000 in just some 6 weeks or whatever it will be, since end of June, about 4 or 5 weeks. I think this will end with a natural slight correction. Buy signal, short-term moving average, long-term moving average, and this slight correction could be this week, but I'm not sure it will be this week. It could be that it will flirt with 55,000 before it takes a slight break, falls back to around 40ish, 45, 40, hard to say, before bouncing up, because the real support is now at 40,000 and there is nothing in the chart indicating that it should fall below 40,000 anytime soon. That has to be some very heavy market news. In general, everything indicates that Bitcoin, again for many months ahead of us, will continue upwards. Is $48,000 right now a buying opportunity? Well, if you're a long-term investor, you are aiming for long-term gains. And will Bitcoin again get back to 65,000? You have to remember that right now Bitcoin will face tons of resistance above, because a lot of people bought in the levels 50, 55, 60, even 65,000. A lot of people bought Bitcoin. So there will be a resistance for every single dollars upwards. Relative strength index is already high, and it will struggle with these levels. So I believe that we are in a short-term uptrend now. My best guess is that it will not manage to do 55, it will do 50, 51 high, take a natural correction downwards to 40, then I think it will push upwards again. So to answer the question, is $48,000 a good place to buy? No, I don't think so. I think that there will be a chance to get in around 40, which is around 20% less than today. I think that chance 40 to 42 will appear. If not this week, next week. But we have to put the target for the next 5 days. So where will we be on Friday for Bitcoin? Well, I will be bold. I will say that the momentum will keep up. Bitcoin will push hard. Could, as I said, even go to 55 high, but I will put the target at $51,000 for Bitcoin. That brings us to DogeCoin. And what did I say about DogeCoin? Well, last week I said I believe DogeCoin will end at 35 cents. And today it's traded at 34.2 as we speak. But Friday it ended 28.6 cents. And I told you DogeCoin was 20, just buy. I even did myself, as I told you in the podcast, that I bought because it was just a super opportunity. And DogeCoin is pushing high, and is pushing high on volume, which always is an extremely good sign. Can it go higher? Yes, it can go higher because it's, sorry to say, shitcoin. It's one of these meme things that may not necessarily end very well in the long run. So we are just doing a profit. And since I bought the 20 and now it's 34, I made very good for the short-term trade. But I think it will continue upwards, and I have my reasons to believe this simply because it was way too oversold before starting to go up. It was down at relative strength index 17 at July 15th. So I believe that it will play a little around while being, because now it's overbought, so I think it will just have these small rushes. And DogeCoin being DogeCoin, it can easily go to 47, even 50 cents on a rally before collapsing a bit and fall back to 30, maybe even as low as 27 cents. So I will personally, I will play the game. I think that I only have this week that I will sell during this week. I'm not sure exactly where, and I might just buy DogeCoin back again. But right now I have huge profit, but I think that I can scrape it up somewhere. So hard to say 45, 47 cents on a rally peak. It just needs a few tweets from Elon or some other things in the news, and that will push DogeCoin. And if you look at the longer term chart of DogeCoin, you will see it more easily. Remember, DogeCoin was at 68 cents, so it's still very low compared to where it was just some months ago, but lots of resistance above. How will it end on Friday? Well, as I said, I think it will have a rally together with Bitcoin, just push at least the first 3, 4, 5 days of the week. It will push very hard upwards. I am not sure if it will be 45 or 40, so to be a little bit realistic, I will put the target at 40 cents. That's where I think DogeCoin will be on Friday. Just remember, I am a little bit biased. I have DogeCoin myself. I even have some Bitcoin, by the way, bought at 30,000, as I told you. Keep that in mind, but as I will also say, I think that during this week I might get rid of my DogeCoins. That brings us to the final part of this podcast, and it's the two companies which I think will do good this week and that I will trade it. But first we'll look at the two companies that I bought last week, and I bought Exigam on Monday at 3.11, but I had to get out on the Wednesday at 3.05. First, everything went super. It went just up as it should. I used trailing stop loss. It followed the stock upwards, but then it started to collapsing on late Tuesday, and my stop loss kicked in at 3.05. So it was sold with 1.97% loss. Virgin Galactic, which really looked very good, I bought that at 33.03 on Monday. Same thing happened there. Everything went as it should do. The stop loss was following the stock upwards, stock upwards, but then it turned down, and also Virgin was sold automatically using a trailing stop loss with a result of minus 2.74. So the two trades last week ended with a combined loss of 2.3%. But as you remember, the week before I did very well, especially on one stock, so still up, but these two trades did not go as they should. And learn, if you don't know, learn more about stop loss. I love trailing stop loss. You don't have to worry, it just follows the stock upwards. You just set either in dollar or percent your stop loss. When the stock go up, the stop loss also go up, it never goes down. And in this case with Exigam and Virgin, it saved me from bigger losses because Exigam was and Virgin was even lower during the rest of the week. So what are the two companies that I will look into this week? Well, one is Nvidia. As I told you in the beginning of the podcast, Nvidia will put up numbers on Wednesday, I think. And looking at the chart, oversold, I think there is possibility for gain, but I will be careful. I will play with a tight stop loss and see if I'm right that it will pick up during the week. So Nvidia will be one. Exactly what buying price I will get, I do not know, because I will buy during either opening or early today. I will first see how the stock moves, if and when and what kind of level I can get. The other stock that I will get into is Roku, and if you look at the Roku chart, it looks miserable. It's been falling heavily lately, but it's oversold on relative strength index. Just have to remember these stocks, when they're oversold, can fall even much more and even faster. But the relative strength index is 11, and that is extremely low. Still, there is no peak in volume. Usually when a stock is done with the falling part, there is a peak in the volume, representing a divergence where the stock will turn around. Right now there is no peak in the volume, so there is really no double signal verifying that I'm correct. Sell signals from short-term moving average, long-term moving average, so there is really nothing spectacular. What I hope is that it will open very negative, that I can get in at the low price, because I think it will turn somewhere around 350, 340, 350. And that there will be possibilities to do a trade upwards to the 400, maybe even as high as 420 level. So that is one trade I will try. If you look, it has lots of support from trading in the April, May, June period, where it was traded around 340. So these are the support levels, and that is why I think there is an opportunity to do something in Roku. And oversold, I always love oversold relative strength index, but you have to use it with care, and you have to look at the resistance above, because if it's plenty of resistance above, the stock will not be able to take out the potential. But in this case, very little resistance above. It's just scattered 380, 390, 400, but a lot of resistance around 420, 440. So it will not go up there anytime soon. But we will see. I hope I will be able, maybe if I'm lucky, I can snatch some stocks around 345 and do a trade upwards to 380, 400, and I will be super happy. Will it break 400? Not sure, but let's see if that will be possible to do during this week. If it goes the opposite way, doesn't manage to turn at the support levels, well, it will be sold. Finally, at the very end, and I have to finish packing my suitcase and get to the airport, just a quick look at the portfolio. And the portfolio did not do very well. It was more or less like market last week. The only few stocks that did somewhat okay was Energy, Velocity Energy. Velocity is a super pink stock. Right now is not traded at all, so you should not get in. It's one of these lottery tickets that I bought to just be in have one stock in the pink stock market. I actually have a few others which I play, because some of them actually go very well, like very, very well. But in this case, Velocity has yet to show some good results. So far we are in a deep red when it comes to Velocity, and usually it's not been trading at all. For the last few weeks, it's totally dead. But that is also very typical for this kind of markets. These are money that I'm totally prepared to lose. That's why I call it lottery ticket. The other companies, again, fell a little bit last week, ending the week at 742. Diffusion Pharmaceuticals still totally dead. Nothing special happening there. Petrogeo Service at 423, so it was just down 3 Norwegian øre during the week, but as I said, I believe it's more to come, and it's still in huge profit. But I think this will just go up, but so far we've been waiting for some time. Arbutus 307, Energy 116, and I think it'll be a good week for Energy. Neo at 4103 was lower than I expected for the week, but it was just a boring week last week, nothing special. I believe this week will be somewhat good. As I told you, I believe Tesla will push up, and I believe Tesla will, Neo also will push up during the weeks. How much? Not sure. So in total, the portfolio went more or less sideways. If you want to be totally exact, it was down 1.83% in total. So it was nothing special, but it was not a good week for this portfolio. My other portfolios are doing very well. This is the high risk portfolio. So that brings us to the end. nothing more to say. I will get on the plane. I hope you will have a super week, that you will be able to pick some good stocks. You can use relative strength index, dive into it, look into it, especially when it's oversold. And as I just told you a few minutes ago, if you're able to combine oversold with increase in volume, because volume will confirm the signal, you have something called a sell-off, you can get some good scoops. And right now with Nasdaq having only some 20% buy signal, means that there should be a lot of good buys at Nasdaq right now. If market goes sideways or up, of course it will be a different story if it goes downwards. We will speak next Monday. Then we're getting very close to the end of August, and as I said a few times, I think we are in the final rally. I think the next few months actually will be good. We will leave it at there, and we will speak in a week. Bye.
That's the end of this video. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment if you have any questions, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.